What's going on, Comic Book Nation? Welcome to San Diego Comic-Con. I am here with some very, very special guests that you guys are really going to enjoy talking with. The cast and writer of Batman, the animated series. It's been 23 years since the show went off the air.
We started doing it 27 years ago.
And we're all still so in love with it.
It's because it's such high quality.
How's it felt for you guys being this far removed from the show, but still getting so much praise for the work that all you guys put in?
Well, I think all of us are so proud to have been a part of something that has such a legacy.
And in the last 2 years, we've gotten a chance to do new things with the characters. We did an episode for Viewmaster, and we did a feature Batman and Harley Quinn. So it was like jumping right back into it.
And like you said, you guys have all done more work with DC, over the years in these animated projects. What made Batman the Animated Series stand out amongst the rest of those projects?
Well, I think it was the writing and really everything about the whole creative process. The cast, Andrea Romano's casting was so incredible. Yeah. A full symphony score. Everything about the show was just such high quality.
Yeah. It was such an adherence to tone once they established where we wanted to go with the characters and with the series and how we wanted it to play. We adhered to that tone all the way through, and there was something that kids could watch it, adults could watch it, and it always felt true to the heart of the characters and to the world that we had established.
That was an important thing about it. I think it never talked down to the audience. It wasn't a kids show, but kids could enjoy it. And I think most of the audience was really like college age, wasn't it? I mean, it was a more adult.
I mean, it spoke to a huge range, which also is nice. It transcended ages, genders, countries, and I mean, I think for me personally, I love the darker versions of Batman always, and this one was so authentic and dark, and we were like, it didn't even feel like we were doing a cartoon.
Not at all.
I always say that's the closest thing to my own voice, because it was just us in these moments, and I think it translates because, like you said, the stories are amazing, the colors are all visually stunning. Like, that animation holds up. If you put that on TV today and said this was new stuff, people would totally buy it, except for the fans that have loved it.
And especially when it's getting remastered for Blu-ray and for streaming, which that's coming up later this year, correct?
The colors are so sensational. The
October
artwork
16th.
is so beautiful.
October
109 episodes.
All 109 episodes are all coming on Blu-ray, and then we're also
Mask of the Phantasm and Sub-Zero.
Which Mask of the Phantasm still to this day is everyone is like, okay, this is the best DC movie of all time.
Period.
Yeah, and it's also coming to DC the first 2 seasons, correct? You're coming to DC Universe streaming service, which is TBD, still launching at some point this year.
Exciting.
How exciting was it for you guys to figure out, like, hey, we're going to get to re-release this for a new generation? Because it's hard to find streaming unless you purchase it on Amazon or something. It's hard to find them.
Well, it's fun going to Comic-Cons. That's what's so much fun about Comic-Cons now, is you really get to interact with the audience. And 27 years ago, we were putting all this out in the ether, and we never had the interaction with the audience, So now I have parents coming up to me and saying, I'm introducing my kids to your show, and this is something we share as a family, That's a great thing to be a part of.
Now, have y'all, as voice actors, as you've reprised these roles over the years, have you tried to change it, or you always want to go back to what you did in the animated series that worked so well?
I think we want to be true to what we did. And what's so great is that we all talked about how we just fall right back into it. Many years pass sometimes between we see each other, we get into the booth, and it's like no time has passed.
Yeah.
And we're also still so young that we can tap into that.
Right.
We're
I was 10 when I started. I had a very deep voice for a 10-year-old.
Yes.
So I'm 37 now. I'm still doing it. No, I think that I have a theory that you can hear lies a lot faster than you see them. And you can tell when someone's lying to you in their voice.
Right.
That's very good.
You can hear it. And the audience would be able to tell in a second if we were phoning it in or if we weren't being authentic with the characters. So there's a real sense of responsibility among all the cast members to be very true to the characters.
In a way, Batman has become now what Bugs Bunny was in the 1930s to the 1980s when Mel Blanc was doing the voice. He started around 1933. He kept going till 1989 or so, and it was just something he always did, and he grew with the part, and it was always sort of a comfortable thing to go back with. And I think Batman has sort of achieved that status where you might not do it for 2 or 3 years, and you go back, and then it's all the same. And there's something new and wonderful to discover about it.
And people are always saying, because when we talk to them in person, they say, you guys have the same voices. So it's so not too hard if you have the same voice to go in and do it again.
Now, you guys are obviously, you're looked at in large as the definitive versions of these characters for a lot of people, because it's what they grew up with, it's what they know, and when they meet you, it's obviously, oh, that's Batman, that's Robin, like that's who you guys are, What quotes from that animated series, that original series, are you guys asked to replicate the most when fans meet you?
Well, I know what he does.
Here we
He does
go.
it every time.
Here we go.
Every time we go to con,
It never gets old.
This is what happens, okay? He shows up, and I've already been signing for a bit, and the crowd goes bonkers, and then he gets up and goes,
I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman.
Oh man, that's
and then his
awesome.
fans go nuts, so I go, blah, blah, I am vengeance, I am the night.
That really gets the crowd going.
super
It does. It really
They
does.
start screaming and stuff. It's fun.
Gives me goosebumps, man. That's cool. And then you got to bring Harley to life, which is unreal. Especially, Batman had been in the comics for decades before this. You create a character that then, you guys together as a team, you created this character, and then she got brought into the comics and is now one of the most popular characters in the world.
Yeah, and Arlene was the first. You can talk about her origin a bit. It's such an amazing shoes to step into. But there was a goddess that did it before me, so you can tell that story.
Oh, yeah. My friend Arlene Sorkin did the voice originally. I came up with the character as a sideline hench girl for an episode called Joker's Favor. And Arlene had this sort of persona as a sort of bubbly 1930s blonde gun mall type thing. And I said, well, what about her? And she came in, and Andrea directed her through it, and she did a great job. And she did it for a number of years and then retired and gave the role to Tara.
She was so gracious in the press too, like way nicer than I would have been. She's just like, so I was like, if I ever thought of anyone to step in my shoes, it'd be her. So it was really touching, and
That's awesome.
yeah, it's an amazing role. I mean, who knew it was gonna blow up so big too, and that's the thing about the characters and the character development is everybody's got a story. I just did a panel like, well, why did you create this character this way, or what's the backstory of this character? And sometimes they don't know. But in this world, it's all fleshed out. So we have something as the actor to tap into. We're like, oh yeah, that happened in our childhood, so that's going to come out now in this line.
Now, Paul, in writing that character, when did you know that Harley was going to take off and be this monumental character going forward?
I had no idea. I wrote the first one, and then at the end, she's caught and makes some comment about going back to beauty school. She was purely a joke character. And yet she was a very appealing sounding one and looking one, and Bruce Timm did a great design for her. And then we had another show with the Joker and a bunch of hench people, and said, well, let's throw Harley in there for a laugh, because the story is kind of grim. So we could do a grimmer Joker story because she took the onus off. And then other directors started saying, hey, can I use the hench girl in my episode? So it got broadened a bit. We didn't want to make her full time because it might rob from the Joker if they suddenly became all comedy episodes. But little by little, she worked her way in, and everybody kind of
muscled her way.
She muscled.
Yes, she did.
Again, I go back to Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck. Nobody created Bugs Bunny leaning against a tree, chomping on the carrot, saying, "What's up, Doc?" It was gradual over a number of years in cartoons, and then just sort of became something that people liked seeing.
That's a nice thing about animation too. It's really collaborative. Like no matter what they could have envisioned Kevin to come in with, he still came in with Kevin, and then it all became this amazing, machine that goes in to create these characters that people really relate to and become quite humanized, and you feel like you know them. Even when we're doing a video game, we don't go in and go, oh, this is only a video game, so we're just going to phone it in. We still become these characters and really envisions all their scenarios.
And it's a real collaborative effort in the recording studio, especially with Warner Brothers, because they like to get everyone together in the room. Yeah. So the booking sessions were so much fun.
So much fun to play off each other. Like when you're not with the other actor and they say and someone's in the room and they go, let's get out of here, you might go, okay, because you're playing off each other. And we always had that gift on this show.
We would give so much to each other. And with the actors we had, like Mark Hamill and Roddy McDowell, I mean the cast.
Just some little extras that they came by for some.
From Zimbalist Jr. I mean, the generosity in the room was amazing. Yeah.
And
the excitement when the ball would get going, those were fun.
Oh my God.
It was crazy
watching
sometimes.
I remember sitting between you and Hamill going like, like just like thinking to myself. And the performance was so masterful, both of you. You just looked at them and they became Batman and Joker.
Oh.
A lot of the people who were on the show had a theater background, and so this, in a lot of ways, was for us doing a play.
Yeah.
And we really enjoyed that part of it.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for stopping by, and thank you for all the years of work you guys have put into to bring us and all the fans out there such an awesome product. And we'll get to see it again October 16th on Blu-ray. The whole series plus Sub-Zero, Mask of the Phantasm.
Yes.
It's all coming back, and we're going to
And
be able
an
to enjoy it.
hour-long documentary.
And a documentary too.
There's a lot to
There's
look forward to with this
on
Blu-ray.
Yeah.
So thank you guys, and thank you guys for tuning in. Keep it locked here on Comicbook.com throughout the rest of the weekend. We'll continue to bring you some awesome coverage from San Diego Comic-Con. Until then, we'll see you later.